A story of family and a family business. That is the synopsis of The Phoenician Scheme, the newest film directed by Wes Anderson. Welcome back into another video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've not already and you love movies, make sure you subscribe. Now, I'm a big Wes Anderson fan. I always have been. I always will be. I love his style. I love his quirkiness. And anytime a movie of his comes out, I know I gotta see it in the theater. And The Phoenician Scheme is no different. Another quirky, kooky story that had incredible blocking, incredible set design, and sound design, and costume design. This one was an absolute hoot. I think at the end of the day, the thing that really works here is the performances. Now, you know with a Wes Anderson film, you're always going to get a stacked cast. And this is no different. Benicio del Toro, Michael Cera, Riz Ahmed, Tom Hanks, Bryan Cranston, Jeffrey Wright, Scarlett Johansson, Benedict Cumberbatch, Bill Murray, Willem Dafoe. That's just to name a few. But one name that I didn't mention, that I actually think is one of the best, if not the best performance of this entire movie, is Mia Threapleton, who plays our titular character of Liesel, who is Benicio del Toro's daughter. This is the first time she'd been in a Wes Anderson movie. This is the first time I've ever seen her in a movie, and I think she was absolutely perfect for this role. She was made for the Wes Anderson mold, and she absolutely killed it. She was my favorite part of this entire movie. Her performance was absolutely picture perfect for the style of film and for the role that she was playing. She was hilarious. She was serious. Props to her. Phenomenal. The other performance that really stood out to me was Michael Cera's, and I think a lot of people are going to be talking about Michael Cera's performance as Bjorn. There's been interviews about how he's always wanted to work with Wes Anderson and how people usually, combine them together as, perfect partners for each other. They both have eclectic styles and performances that they've put on, and it just has never happened. Timing, scheduling has always gotten in the way. But now that Michael Cera has had the opportunity, it's a match made in heaven. And I think he directly cements himself as part of the ever-returning cast in Wes Anderson films. As Wes Anderson continues to make his movies, you're going to see a lot more Michael Cera because he assimilated perfectly into this style of film. I loved him. Second favorite character in this movie behind Liesel. He was phenomenal. I mean, the performances are just astounding as a whole. You have to, with the Wes Anderson film, you have to commit to that type of quirky, kooky, filmmaking. The way it's written, the cadence and the tone of the writing, and the way it's blocked and the way it's shot. You're not going to see another film like a Wes Anderson film. You know when you're watching a Wes Anderson film what it looks like, how the cadence comes off, how it sounds. And to be successful, you have to commit. And everyone in this cast commits. And that's something that I really, really loved about it. We've already mentioned that when you get Wes Anderson, you get stunning technical. That's another great part about this. The technical here is phenomenal. Set design, sound design, costume design, the editing's great. Everything about this is picture perfect from a technical perspective. And that's what you have learned to expect from a Wes Anderson film. Not much more to say about that because it's expected at this point. And if it's not at the picture perfect tippity top, then it is kind of a disappointment. But, not every Wes Anderson film is the same. You do see him evolve and change and take what works and what doesn't work and assimilate. I think this is probably one of his stronger directing performances as a whole. He is working on all cylinders from start to finish. This film flies by. It's almost 2 hours in length, but you are going from point to point to point to point to point to point to point. And this is probably one of the most frenetic Wes Anderson films we've had in quite some time. And he really did show off his directing chops here once again. Really liked it. Again, Wes Anderson's in my Mount Rushmore of directors. I know he's going to deliver, and I know I'm going to enjoy it, even if at the end of the day it may not be his strongest entry. One of the biggest issues I do have is the script. I do think it's one of the more weaker scripts of his in recent memory. I think that there are a lot of plot points in here that do not feel fully fleshed out. There are a lot of things that just happen very quickly that I probably would have liked a little bit more time to let simmer. One of the downsides of a Wes Anderson picture is that a lot of times they do go pretty frenetic and pretty fast, and things can get caught up in the fray, and you do sacrifice a little bit of the character development for some of the integral characters to the story. Now, that doesn't mean you don't get really good character development from your main characters. I actually think that there are some really solid themes that are tackled here, specifically about death, about religion, about redemption, and things like that. I think that, Benicio del Toro's character is incredibly complex, and he has done a lot of dark things, but bringing his daughter back for the first time, and I believe it was 6 years, and constantly having these near-death experiences, he seemingly more and more realizes how fragile life is with each experience he has with death. And as he knows that he is slowly but surely hurling towards his actual demise, he wants to change things. And I really like this complex story that we go on with him. I think at the end of the day, this is a strong outing from Wes Anderson. Like I did say, I do have some issues with the script. I do think at times it can be a little weak, and we did not get everything that we wanted from some of the side plots that ended up being integral by the finale. But there is enough good here in the writing that complements the stellar performances and technical and direction that this, I still think, in my opinion, is one of Wes Anderson's more solid films. Is it one of my absolute favorites? No. But is it one that I am willing to revisit in the future? Absolutely. I gave The Phoenician Scheme an 88 out of 100. I believe, I would have to fact check this, but I do believe it is in the top 10 of the year for me so far. Will it stay there? I would bet no, but it's probably going to stay in the top 20 for the rest of the year. Wes Anderson, again, is one of my favorite directors. So maybe I'm a little bit biased, but he always delivers for me. I love the kookiness. I love everything that he does, from the blocking and the technical and everything. And these performances really are the reason why you go watch this movie in particular, because they are the standouts for me. That's it, guys. Gotta sneeze. I was holding in that sneeze for the end of that. That is it. Thank you so much for watching my review of The Phoenician Scheme. Get down in the comments. Let me know. Did you watch it? What did you think? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know why. And again, like I already said, if you've not already, make sure you subscribe. We've got a lot more reviews coming out for the rest of the summer. There's a lot of really awesome movies that I'm looking forward to watching. If any of that interests you, if any of these reviews interest you, if you like the review you saw today, consider hitting that subscribe button. That is it, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Let me know what you thought of The Phoenician Scheme down below in the comments. And until next time, we'll see you in the next video.